Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video today, we're checking out the Gamakay TK75HE V2. Now that is a mouthful, but this is a 75% keyboard and it is Hall effect, so we have got an adjustable actuation and it is 8K polling rate as well. So it is extremely responsive and overall it's a really nice looking keyboard. Now I won't sit here and lie to you and pretend that this is the first time I've looked at it. I've actually been using this keyboard for 2 weeks and honestly I was originally going to review the keyboard when I got it, but I thought to myself, why not actually try it for 2 weeks, see what I actually think of it, and then make a review video on it and actually give you my opinion on the keyboard after using it for 2 weeks. So as mentioned, it is packed with a bunch of features and I will just put on screen quickly all the main features. It is hot swappable as well, so you can put in any magnetic switch that you want as long as it's N pole, which I think means North Pole. So what that means is if we wanted to use like the Gateron Magnetic Jade Pros, we could put these in here. And I was actually thinking to myself, guys, maybe in a future video we can mod this keyboard, switch out a few things, customize it a little bit and make it even better. But for now, this is just kind of a review of the actual base keyboard without us actually changing anything. Now the switches that are in this keyboard are the Mercury, so the Gamakay magnetic switches, they're Mercury. You do have an option to get the Phoenix silent, but I did not want to get the silent switches, but I did just want some switches that sounded nice, and it seems like this is quite a popular option. I believe they do a standard version of this keyboard, so not a Hall effect keyboard, and that also has silent switches, and I think a lot of people like that, especially if they're just typing all day or they just don't like loud keyboards. But yeah, so we've got the Gamakay magnetic Mercury switches. We've also got cherry profile translucent keycaps, and one of the other features I really loved was there's this little LCD display screen right here. And like I said, I've already been using this keyboard, so as soon as we plug in the keyboard you will see I've already set that up. And we will also go over the software as well, and I'll show you how to use it, how to adjust all the actuation and everything. But it's also got snap tap, it's obviously a wired connection. The V1 version of this keyboard has got tri-mode, so if you want to connect it wirelessly through the dongle, or if you want Bluetooth instead of wired, you can do that. You can go for the V1, but I don't really care about having a wireless keyboard. Now you might be wondering, why am I switching from my Mad 60HE, which was modded, to this keyboard? Now there's no doubt about it, the Mad 60HE was an amazing keyboard. I never had any issues with it, and after modding it, it felt amazing. Obviously we had it in the Tofu 60 Redux case, so that thing was like 3 kilograms. It was really heavy, which really helped a lot because, as you guys know, or some of you do, I do use this joystick which sits underneath the keyboard like that. So having a heavy keyboard is helpful to stop this from moving around. But yeah, the main reason I wanted to go for a 75% keyboard is I did use one for a little bit, which was the Alder F75, and I loved that keyboard, but I really wanted a Hall effect keyboard. I believe they do a pro version of the Alder F75 now, and even companies like Ajaz, they do the AK820, I think Pro or Max, which is Hall effect as well, which you can get on AliExpress. So I actually just bought this keyboard from Gamakay's website. This is not a sponsored video. Obviously I've worked with Gamakay in the past, and I did actually use my discount code at checkout and I saved about 6% or 8% off. So we saved about £4, and I believe this keyboard for me was about £65. On their website currently it's £69. But if you use my code, which I will put in the description, as long as it's still valid, which I think it is, you'll be able to save a little bit of money. You've also obviously got this volume knob, and if you press it in, it will mute the video that you're playing. So these are all things I really like. It has got RGB, and there's a strip that comes down here. Now I will show you the RGB in the software, but the RGB is not that good. And what I mean by this is that the colours seem inaccurate. That's the best way I can describe it. I've just got the keyboard set up with a white RGB glow, and I like that anyway, but when I tried the red, it looked more like it just seemed very dim and a little bit off, which I will try and show you in the video anyway. Now I would like to show you guys the weight of this keyboard. Of course you could just go on Google and check for yourself, but it's nice to know in a review. So as you can see, the keyboard is fairly light, coming in at 777 grams, so basically 0.7 kg. So it is a bit on the lighter side, but by no means does it actually feel cheap. It actually feels really solid. It is light compared to some keyboards, especially ones that are in an aluminium case, or like my Mad 60, which was in a Tofu 60 Redux case with the brass weight. That thing was really heavy. I think the weight alone was about 1.2 kilograms. But there are a few things I want to do if I'm going to mod this keyboard. I want to see if there's a way I can make this keyboard heavier. I've seen people use pennies before and put pennies at the bottom of the case. And I guess you'd have to glue them in place, which will add a bit of weight. But what I will actually probably do is take apart this keyboard and see what space we've got in there. Because I was thinking if I could possibly take out the heavy brass weight from the Mad 60. And if it was able to sit in there flush, it all depends on the ridges and stuff at the bottom of the case. But if I was able to put the Mad 60 weight in there, that's going to add about, I think I said about 1 kilogram or something, so that'll make it feel heavy. So as long as I can get that put into place real solid and it's not moving around, that will add a lot of weight. Now moving on to the back side, pretty basic. It has got 2 heights for the flip up feet, and we will just take a moment to talk about this here. So as you can see on this bit here, there's no rubber bit. There is one there. You might be wondering, why is there no rubber bit? Well, they fell off on both sides. And I've never had that before. And the thing is, I think it's because I was having it angled like this. And the joystick was obviously, the joystick was going underneath. And because the joystick rises it up a bit, I think it was almost putting more weight on the back. Like pushing it like that. But yeah, that's what happened. They literally fell off. So, which is not great because the rubber bits are there to grip. It still kind of grips, but if I try and use the joystick now, which raises it up, it won't work. So I had to switch to using the higher ones, which does feel fine to me now. But I'll tell you straight away, this one's fine. This one moves all the time. It's always falling off. So if I'm going to mod this keyboard, I'm also going to see if there's a way I can put like a little bit of glue or adhesive to stop that from moving around. Like I said, I don't think this would happen on a normal keyboard when you're just like that. It's not going to move. But as soon as you put this underneath here, there's a bit of play at the bottom because it's been lifted up, and I think that was putting weight on the keyboard. As soon as you're moving around with this joystick and pushing up and down, surely it's just pushing them around, and that's what's making them fall off. But that's obviously subject to if you use a joystick, which not many people do. So aside from that, there's not really any issues. I just like a heavier keyboard, so maybe if I mod this keyboard, that's something I'm going to do. But let's plug the keyboard in and I can show you the little LCD screen. Right, so as you can see, we've got the keyboard plugged in. The RGB itself is quite bright. It doesn't look that bright in here or in this video because of the lighting, but it does look bright. But the RGB colours are a bit off, as I mentioned. This white, it looks fine. It's exactly what I wanted. But when I show you in the software, when we change it to red, the camera might make it look even better than it actually is, but the colours are a little bit off on it. Like I said about the screen, we've got a little LCD screen, and you can actually upload your own images in there. It does tell you the dimensions of the image, but I just put my little logo for our branding, and I think it looks really good. But before we do anything, let me unplug it and just show you the switches. So the only weird thing about it is on their website, the switches look completely different to that. So did I get scammed? And they are closed bottom as well. Overall, the switches do actually sound pretty good. Alright guys, so for installing the software, you're just going to come to Google or whatever browser you want, type in Gamakay TK75HE V2, and we can head straight over to their website. This was the page I was on earlier, telling you about the specs and everything. Now when it comes to what you actually need for the keyboard, you can obviously choose these switches here. Now the really weird thing about it is the black version only has the Mercury switches, so that's one thing to take into consideration. But with the white one, you can get the Phoenix switch as well. Now when I looked at all this, I was like, I don't really want to pay extra for keycaps. And I was worried I was just going to get the actual keyboard, just base of a keyboard, no keycaps. But these are just transparent keycaps, and unless that's something you're into, you don't need them. So you only need to pay for this. This is all you need. Choose your switches and then you're done. And I will put the code on screen, so if you want to buy this keyboard, you can use my code. So if we go to checkout, and then on the right here, you can actually put the discount code. But anyway, that's not what this part is about. We're going to head over to download and we're going to go to software. And as you can see, all the different keyboards they have. This is the keyboard they sent me for review a few months ago, the Gamakay X Norshock N68. But we're going to be looking at the TK75HE V2 anyway. So we're going to download now. Now I haven't actually got the software even installed at the moment. This is on a newer Windows install, and I'm pretty sure all my actuations and stuff stayed the same. So we will find out when we open the software to see if I've actually been playing on higher actuations. But once that's done, we can open it up and let it install. And as you can see, it's kind of initializing the device. So if we look here, we're on the main section. If we go to light here, this is where you can adjust the colors. And I don't know if you can see on the screen, but I've actually just changed that to red. It just looks a bit dull to me. That looks almost a little bit pink. I know you really can't see that, but that's kind of an example of what I meant about the RGB. If we change that to like a light blue, that's more of like a greeny blue. It is the same colour, but just not as vibrant as I'd expect. Especially the red, like this is meant to be red. It just looks pink to me. So like I said, I just keep it on white, and that's how I have it. You have brightness here, but obviously that is a max brightness, so that's the best it's going to get. That's as bright as it's going to get. And you obviously have some different lighting modes, but I like to just keep mine on a static colour. Let's head over to main and go to stroke settings. And then here you can, this is where you can actually select all the keys at once. So if we do that, it's highlighted them all. Otherwise, you have to individually select them. I'm pretty sure you can do them in groups like this. So you could drag and do that. Let's say you wanted to do all these and you wanted to adjust some of these separate, you could do that. So as you can see, we've got all buttons selected. You also have here as well full quick trigger, and it does actually tell you what it does. When enabled, the quick trigger will only terminate when you completely release the button. So I don't really know what it does, but I've tried it out and it seems to be fine. You can also change the dead zone as well, which you will see a bunch of information about as well. But the main thing for me is just making sure the actuations are low. And you have got a simulation test as well. And you can actually just do a key test as well here. So this is where you're going to be able to adjust and see how sensitive you like it. But the keyboard is really sensitive. As I mentioned, I've got most set to the lowest. Usually I have spacebar set different, but apparently I didn't do that this time. The other binder I would use would be V, which is here. So it looks like at the time I just set them all to the lowest. And there is one thing I will mention as well. Compared to the MAD 60HE, this feels just as responsive, but it doesn't feel overly sensitive like the MAD 60 did. What I mean by that is, like, it was so easy to accidentally type on the MAD 60 and press the key too much or another key by accident. Even though this is technically faster, it has the same actuation and it has 8K polling rate, I can honestly say that this is much better for typing as well as gaming. You know, it's not like a sacrifice where we've got a really fast keyboard but it feels horrible for typing. This keyboard feels absolutely lovely for typing, and that's one thing I'll say, even with the lowest actuation. Now for some reason I can't move this up, but before I was able to. So this is the press. This is how far you've got to press the key in. The other thing to take into note as well is when you, if you're going to change your switches in this keyboard, you need to calibrate them. So as soon as you put the new switches in, you do need to calibrate them as well. So now you can see we can move it all of a sudden. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because. So let's say we've got all selected. I understand what the press is, but I don't understand what the up is. I think that's to do with the rapid trigger. Maybe it's like what point it deactivates or can reset. I'm not entirely sure, but I've been using mine on a slightly higher than the actual press. And you have got the full quick trigger as well, like I mentioned. And you can set that as low as 0.01. But it does tell you that when the travel is set to high sensitivity, it may be affected by environmental interfaces and cause buttons to be accidentally touched. So that's one thing to bear in mind. It's just prompting you that can happen. But yeah, there's not really much I would actually use inside of the software. You've got macros. You've got your screen, like I said, you can upload pictures. Mine is already saved on there, which it's actually just kind of disappeared because I've installed the software. But I don't know if you guys can see, but it's actually clearing the image right now. And at the moment it has got the time on there, time and the date. And for some reason my my logo is in the background. Now I don't have to open the software for my image to stay. Whatever image is set on that little screen is going to stay there until obviously I've gone and installed the software again and it's reset it. But it's pretty simple. You just grab a photo picture that you want to put on there. It will probably tell you there's a maximum dimension, and then you can just edit your photo and then you can upload your image there. But anyway, that's the software. Now let's go on. We're going to get some clips with this keyboard.